Welcome to the OAX Experience, where we explore living, investing, and creating your dream life here on the coast of Oaxaca.
That's it.
I'm Amber, this is Leon. We're co-founders of OAX Financing, sharing real stories, insider tips, tricks, case studies, and lessons for our clients and you to help you learn more about investing and living here in Mexico. So let's dive in. Today's episode, we're talking about title. So perhaps you're a first-time home buyer. Maybe you're priced out of your market in your current or hometown or city, and you've been thinking about purchasing down here in Mexico. What we want to dive in today about is title, the subject of title.
Yep. Do you get title? Like, I think that's a big question that everybody wants to know. Like, if I buy in any foreign country, anywhere, would I get title? What kind of title would I get? Is it a secure title?
Well, what is title? And what does that mean?
It's the ownership. It's your ownership. It's your right of ownership to the property or anything that you buy. You know, if you buy a car, you pay it in cash, you get title. You don't pay it in cash, you have financing, you're paying financing. Once it's paid off, you get title. Same thing with real estate. So if you want title in hand, you're paying in full, you get title. If you don't have title in hand, it's because you're financing it. So in Mexico, yes, you do get safe and secure title. And today we're going to talk about probably the gold standard, the most safe and secure title you could get as a foreigner buying in Mexico.
Well, in Mexico, we have two types of land property, and they all have their own systems and laws that operate independently of each other. We have private, which is governed by the civil laws, and then we have ejidos communal land, which is governed by their own system as well. In this episode specifically, we are going to get into the details of the most secure way to own property, private title. Sounds fancy, but it's really just peace of mind.
Yep. Very good.
So private title is just that, right?
Same title you get back home. I mean, we're saying the same for to keep it simple, but it is relatively the same as what you're getting at home. So it is full title, legal, recognized. You can sell it. You can will it.
It's registered in your name.
In your name. You can remodel it. You can do anything you want with it. So you have the full rights of possession and rights of use of that property. That's what this title will look like.
Okay, but there's also a lot of confusion for foreigners here in Mexico in terms of, are they truly allowed to have that ownership and right to the property here in Mexico?
Well, and then you're getting into, that's really the details, the minutia of it. So like, even in your country, like historically, you used to be able to get title back in the olden days, and you could own your house or your piece of all the way to the center of the earth, all the way to outer space. That's not like that anymore. You can only own your little piece. You don't have the rights to anything below your land anymore, unless you're buying a mine or something like that. But this is the same thing. You're getting title that gives you the rights to do anything you want with that property. And that's what private title is.
Okay, but here in Mexico, we have something called the restricted zone.
Correct.
That is within 50 kilometers of a coast or 100 kilometers of a land border. Foreign buyers are not allowed to own that property unless with a fideicomiso.
Well, in Mexico, they want to attract foreign investment. So they created a legal system for foreigners to be able to own and buy property in those restricted zones.
Okay, so what is a fideicomiso?
So a fideicomiso is a bank trust. So when you have private title, you can have a bank trust that goes with that private title. So the bank is holding the title with you, and they're governing that title, and you're paying a fee to set that bank trust up. And these are with big national banks. And then you're paying a pretty nominal amount each year to keep that bank trust open. So the fideicomiso is a bank trust, and it's the way that you hold private title.
Does the bank have any control over your property in this system?
Only if you don't pay them. So just with anything, if you're not paying, you get behind on your fees and not paying, then yeah, they're going to lien your title. And, but even back home, you better pay your mortgage payments, your property taxes, and anything that goes along with it. Now, do you have to have that bank trust if you're paying in cash, or is it only with financing?
You have to have it regardless.
There you go. The fideicomiso. So bank trust, that's how you hold title, private title in Mexico.
Exactly. I mean, a little historical context is Mexico didn't just randomly decide that foreigners can't directly own property here. Historically, after losing big chunks of land in the 1800s, I guess, they got serious about protecting their coastlines and borders. So in 1917, they wrote into the Constitution that no direct foreign ownership in those areas. Fast forward to the 70s, obviously wanting to create economy and
attract foreign investment, because a lot of foreigners want to buy in Mexico. It's beautiful. It's a massive amount of coastline in this country.
So in the 70s, they created the fideicomiso. It's been running ever since. So you can still buy your dream home here. It's just the structure that keeps Mexicans' sovereignty intact.
Exactly. And
right?
yeah.
It's kind of like buying a car.
Right. It's kind of like buying a car, but also like your fun fact there of like in Mexico, about 40% of the land is private title in Mexico, and more than half of the
only
land,
40% of all national territory, 51 being ejidos communal or social property. A lot of it's agricultural, and then the balance is public federal, which is actually kind of interesting because that brings us to Huatulco.
So in addition to them creating this fideicomiso process to attract foreign ownership and protect foreigners if they're buying property in Mexico, you have Fonatur as an example. In Huatulco, Oaxaca, Fonatur was a Mexican government agency that came in the 80s to develop that region specifically for foreign investment, to create jobs for the local community, and to have infrastructure built in that region.
They leveled the entire place.
Yeah. And then what they did was they brought in, so infrastructure being underground utilities, they created neighborhoods, subdivisions,
sewer systems,
water treatment plants. They had big planning in place for massive all-inclusive hotels. These all-inclusive hotels are just spectacular. They're on the coast. They're your postcard moments that you see of these, beachfront, beautiful pools and restaurants, and that's what Fonatur helped create. And
they actually created a city plan so almost exact to a traditional American city plan that there's things that they don't even use. There's bus stops without buses.
There's bus stops and there's roads and big boulevards that have been built that you can see as for future expansion. Stop signs that I've had friends come and visit me and they're like, stop. I'm like, do not stop, because the people here are not expecting you to stop, because if you stop,
the stop sign's for the future.
It's for the future. So it was really, really cool to see how they did it. It was very well done. When you drive into Huatulco from the airport, you see this massive statue logo of the Fonatur logo. They have recently pulled out. So they came in the 80s. They're not in Huatulco anymore. So now it's governed by the local government. So they've taken over control of it. So they came in, spent 30 years in there developing it and keeping it going, and now it's grown up. Now it's running, and now it's a system in Huatulco, which is why Huatulco is mostly all private title property, and it attracts a lot of foreign investment. A lot of Canadians are in Huatulco.
A lot of Canadians.
They built an airport with it, expanded the airport. So this is a massive master plan.
They also have a massive marina where they have cruise ships coming in.
There's two marinas. So they built two marinas. A very good point. They built two marinas. At one point, I've seen 2 cruise ships side by side in Santa Cruz. And then they have another private marina that even right now today, there's big mega yachts in that marina. I actually sold a private title house to Canadians in that marina. So this is, and they were really happy. They scored. I mean, this is why, like you had mentioned, I think a bit about being priced out. If you're priced out, maybe not even just priced out, but your money could go further here. Like they bought, so this is a little bit of a case study, but they bought this beautiful home on the marina. They can pull a boat in the front of their house. They have an ocean view, marina view, beach view, and mountain view, and they're on the water. They couldn't touch that property for anywhere near the price they paid for it here, and it's private title, and they have a fideicomiso, so they're protected. Very happy, and it's a great investment. And when they bought that, it was already a running rental, so they have rental income coming in immediately. So this is what Farnator created. They built government housing, so that government housing was built for all the workers to come in. So sometimes you might hear stories about, foreigners are coming in and, they're buying in Mexico. This was created for foreign investment
It was the plan.
for jobs. And interestingly, those government housing the apartments they created have now been sold to foreigners as condos, private title condos. So it's gone full circle. It's a really big economy, and it's a beautiful place.
It is a beautiful
It's
place.
gorgeous.
So we also have another kind of funny story about federal land.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the different types of land and how much land is federal, what's private title, funny story of one of an older man that is a big real estate, has a big real estate company here in Mexico. 50 years ago, comes to Puerto Escondido with his buddies, and they're camping at the beach, and they come in late at night, so they can't really see where they are, and so they put their tents up, and they're camping, and then they go to sleep, and early in the morning, this massive plane comes over the top of them, scares them, right? Their tents are shaking, and they're like, oh my God, like what happened? They realized they had camped on a runway. The reason why this is important is the runway is federal. So that's federal land. That's private title land. Fast forward 50 years later, that runway now is the high road in one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in Puerto Escondido. The high road is called Rinconada. The neighborhood is called Bococho.
And it's this big, large boulevard, and you can kind of see, it makes sense that this was a runway.
Yeah, you can see it, but now it's like nice restaurants and shops and ice cream stores and, apartment buildings. Like, it's really nice. And
all the entrances to the most beautiful swimming beaches. It's
all
a
those
real
beaches are right there.
prime spot.
The neighborhood is Bococho, and it's all private title. So the reason why we're sharing that story is that's an example of it was federal land, and they just converted it into commercial residential, but that's safe and secure title. And you can go
And it's some of the most prime real estate there is in
I
Puerto
love it.
Escondido.
Yeah, you could go buy in there. Again, if you're priced out, you could buy a home in there, and you're walking distance to some beautiful beaches. You couldn't afford anything like that anywhere near on a coastline. And it will go up. Like this is a good time. This is an emerging market. Emerging market is bringing infrastructure in. We're sharing these stories with you because this is real life examples of how they're building this coastline out, how this works. We live here. We've experienced this. We've seen the changes and growth in this. So that was a really fun story.
Well, speaking of private title real estate, let's get into some case studies. I think the first one we should share about is our first client at OAX Financing ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great guy, almost a little bit of a partner in a sense, having gone through things with us the first time around.
Yep.
Let's talk about his story.
Yeah, he has become like a partner to us. And even the other day when I talked to him, I said, I feel like we're almost like friends. He goes, we kind of are friends now. We're in this together. I said, because we told him, you're the first one. We've done so much research on this, but we don't have a live
that
example.
just goes in line with our sort of mission to begin with.
Yep.
It's just always transparent and clear and concise.
And a lot of background was done, a lot of research was done before we brought this to you guys, before we would put a client in that situation. So he bought private title condo in Huatulco, needed financing, American, not a tourist, so not a resident, not a temporal resident, married to a Oaxacan lady, but he hasn't gone through any of the process to become a citizen. So he is truly buying as a foreign tourist. But he wanted the condo and worked with a really good real estate company. They got him a good deal. It actually appraised a little bit over value, which anytime that happens anywhere in the world, you're pretty happy. But he's gone through the entire process, and I feel really happy with this because we put him with the bank, and the bank has been spot on. And they have been on time, and they've done everything they needed to do through this entire process. We've reviewed all the loan docs. We've reviewed the appraisal, same appraisal you would see anywhere, like comps, pictures, measurements. They've checked that it's connected to services, so connected electric, water, everything. So
exactly. So private title in the restricted zone by a tourist.
Yeah, right at the beach.
Closed, fideicomiso,
Done. So and not expensive. So that was, less than 200,000 US. And you're buying a condo at the beach, and it's a rental as well. So when he's traveling around the world working remotely, and when his wife's not there, that's going to be a rental that they manage. So that's something that would be very difficult to do in someplace other than this area and other than an emerging market like this. Oh,
exactly.
So that's a great story.
Okay, so we have another case study. Producer Patty's quick close.
Yeah, this was a good one. Again, Huatulco. We're using Huatulco because it's private title. Mostly everything there is private title. So producer Patty watched her follow this transaction as she managed it. House in Huatulco, private title in a Fonator developed neighborhood. So this was a neighborhood developed by them. And in 3 months, they closed a house. It's a house. They closed this transaction with financing, with traditional
mortgage financing.
Traditional mortgage financing, 10% down. But 20-year loan, 20-year loan, national buyer, foreign seller. So Canadian seller, Mexican buyer, 10% down, traditional bank, traditional mortgage, really good mortgage, private title, close it in 3 months, done. And they had to close it in 3 months because when you're bringing a bank in, there's timelines. Your appraisal is on a timeline. Your underwriting approval is on a timeline. The fideicomiso process, like once you're starting this fideicomiso process, you're paying your application fee.
So in this case, because it's a national buyer, they're not requiring the fideicomiso, but the foreign seller had one. So now it's the closing process of the fideicomiso.
Exactly. That's a very good point because they had to close that fideicomiso out because the property has to be free and clear of liens.
Exactly. And that's very easily done. It's just there are steps and processes.
And it takes time. But you have to work with efficiency and with urgency.
And the team.
And a team. You have to work with a team. That was watching a really good team, and producer Patty, followed that and managed that transaction to a successful close.
Exactly. So let's recap a little bit. You have private title. What can you do with it? You can buy, sell,
rent,
lease, rent,
will.
Whether you're looking to buy a home here, rent it out, pass it on to your kids, the private title gives you the strongest legal foothold here in Mexico.
Exactly. The gold standard.
Yeah. If you're a foreigner, the fideicomiso is key.
You want that.
You want it.
Yeah. And you're happy. It's part of your closing costs. You're happy to pay for it. When you bring a bank in, it's just another layer of protection. The bank is going to probably be the highest. They're going to hold the highest standard of making sure the property is secure.
It's just another part of the team, right? Because the process is just as important as the papers.
Yeah. You want the bank.
Exactly. So the fideicomiso is key. It's what makes it possible. Obviously, there's yearly costs, upkeep, but it's very nominal, and it's just part of maintaining a house.
Yep. And then we're here for you. So this, this is one of the modules is private title. So this module goes deep into it. We're sharing some fun stories with you. You're seeing us kind of talk about it, making it easy for you to digest. It's not scary. It's all good.
Exactly. So if you want the full step-by-step process, plus private title due diligence checklist, notario checklist, the questions to ask them, if they're doing things right, are they working in a timely manner? All of these things, these are all inside the module of our certification series, specific to private title.
If this applies to your case and you want to have us on a one-on-one call and go deep into this, we're here for you. That's why we're here today. It's why the courses were developed. It's a lot of information, but it's designed to help you get through this process and break it down so that you can feel secure making an investment here.
Yeah, you want to know what all the steps are involved in the process from the beginning.
Yep, that's it. Well,
all right, so that's it for this episode, the OAX Experience.
Thank you guys.
See you next time.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.